Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I started a new project, a build project, which is a Captain Classed in the episode Vengeance Cascade kind of thingy, right? So this is the hopefully second build of the league, if we ignore the fact that Rage Vortex was bugged, and then I played Cyclone, and then I played I think like 3 or 4 other kind of builds. Most of the time I spent the time doing the campaign. Today I leveled up this one. It currently has a playtime of 11 hours, so it's pretty fresh. Currently level 91, and it is Spectral Shield Throw, and it is, yeah, it's a pretty scuffed character as of right now, okay? I made a to-do list on what I have to do to make this build decent, right? And yeah, but I still want to talk about the build, about the idea behind it, where the journey should go, and why do I think this build might be actually insane. And it all starts off with a note from the Crucible, which says, the Shield Crush and Spectral Shield Throw do not gain added physical damage based on armor and evasion shield, but it does gain 30 to 50 added lightning damage per 15 energy shield, and 100% of the physical damage is converted into lightning damage. So basically that would mean that we are a pure lightning based Spectral Shield Throw. I think the most common ones are the Cold Spectral Shield Throw Raiders, but I thought like with this one you can make a pretty cool lightning based one, and then mixing up something with a Doriani's prototype and see how the journey will go. And honestly, I think this might be actually pretty crazy when it comes to the damage output slash throughput, what you could achieve, because with or thanks to the Crucible, there is like a shield that is pretty mandatory, or at least very highly used for Spectral Shield Throw, which is the Emperor's Vigilance Shield. A shield that has like a lot of armor, a lot of ES, and I think like 350 ES is actually a pretty high amount to have that on a shield. But there is one special modifier on the shield, and it says 1000% increased armor and energy shield on this shield, right? Because usually, as you see, it has only 31 ES, right? But thanks to the 1000 increase, it has like 347 with quality. So imagine if you get an Emperor's Vigilance that has like flat energy shield, flat armor, or something like that on this tree. This is just like any tree. This is like not the done tree, right? What happens is you get something like this one over here, an energy shield 848 Emperor's Vigilance that has, as I said, flat ES on the Crucible tree, because it has 1000% increased. So anything that goes along with like flat ES with the Spectral Shield Throw thingy, I mean, they go for like quite a bunch of currency, but I would assume that it is a shield. That means there is a limited pool of Crucible tree nodes that you can have. So I guess all you need to do is like spend your time, use those, what they're called, here it is, Primeval, whatever, and then get a Crucible tree on that, or even get the base shield and get the tree on, and then chance it into the Emperor's Vigilance, because it's the only unique shield that you could chance out of that. In theory, at least, right? So as a comparison, there is like, here's a shield that has 600 ES, which is a Titanium Spirit Shield, which is the highest ES base that exists actually in the game. So this one with like almost triple T1 ES has like 600 with Crucible nodes, right? And this one just has like 800 something, which is like just insane. I don't even know if anything like an 800 ES shield even exists in Standard, which is kind of ridiculous. Good, enough talked about this kind of shield. What else does it make it probably pretty good is the Threshold Jewel from Spectral Shield Throw, which is the Seething Fury, which says base critical strike chance and multiplier, crit multi, per 10 ES on your shield. So if we get a shield that has like a shit ton of energy shield, we get a lot of crit strike chance, a lot of crit multi, and a lot of base flat lightning damage. In PUB, this doesn't work. So if I just take this shield here and just open my PUB real quick, as I said, this is the PUB that I'm gonna link you. This is my current character, which is like super scuffed when it comes to the item. We're gonna go over that in a second. But if I just enter this here, all of the text here is written red, so this doesn't work in PUB. And I'm not even sure if it works on a tooltip, but my shield currently only has 260 ES, so it's not really a lot of difference, because before, what this node basically does is like it removes the added physical damage. So Spectral Shield Throw gives you flat base physical damage, but it also gives you 5 to 7 flat physical damage per 15 armor and evasion. This line is gone and get replaced by 30 to 50 lightning damage per ES, right? And then we would probably use something like a Doriani's prototype, which says armor also applies to lightning damage taken from hits, as well as lightning resistance does not affect lightning damage taken, but therefore nearby enemies have lightning resistance equal to yours. So what you would do is you're stacking armor to compensate for the missing lightning resistance, because now your armor is actually taking care of lightning damage, not the damage over time, by the way. So what you would want to do is get as much negative lightning resistance as possible to inflict the enemies with like negative 130 lightning resistance, right? So you probably understand that this build at some point makes some quite decent sense, and there is even more, but I don't want to spoiler everything on the build as of right now. This character has a lot of things that needs to be done. As I said, I made a list over here. I need to fix, I'm not ailment immune, I'm not corrupted blood immune, I need stun immunity, I want to reach a 200 negative lightning rest for the Doriani's prototype, I want to reach like 100,000 armor, maybe like 5k life, the SST node on a high ES Vigilant Shield, then do Uber Lab. I still haven't done Uber Lab. I need to upgrade my Pantheons, my Cluster Jewels. I just put in like just anything that I bought for like a couple of chaos just to really like test it, right? We have no rare jewels basically, no Watcher's Eye, no Forbidden Flame Flash, no Grand Spectrums, no Awakened Gems, no alternate, or a few alternate quality gems, but not all of them. The Flask is just something I had on my stash, and I need to fix my mana reservation, because at the moment I can only sustain Wrath, Tempest Shield, Determination, and Defiance Banner, as well as Skitter Bots to shock. Are currently not working, but I do have a haste with Divine Blessing, so if I use that, it just takes my a bunch of like my energy shield that I have converted with Eldritch Battery to save my mana instead, to we get the haste buff. I would say we're just gonna run a map so you see how it currently looks like. I don't even know, Dunes is like a wide out, right? Blah 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 blah. I think that's, God, I hope it's not gonna be terrible. As I said, I have some like very questionable items. My main goal here was to like get res capped and try to like get the negative lightning resistance down, right? And I did that with a Melding the Flesh. Is it? Where did I put my Melding the Flesh? Here. This one gives you like negative 80 all resistance, for example, right? Then you could take something like Aventur's Gamble with negative lightning resistance. You could take a Thread of Hope with negative lightning, like negative all res and so on. So you want to get your lightning resistance as low as possible to gain the most amount of damage. So, my setup here is Spectral Shield Throw, Vicious Projectiles, Ally Focus because of the planned Skitter Bots, Elemental Damage with attacks, Pierce support, as well as Fork support. So, Spectral Shield Throw itself cannot pierce, okay? It says it on the skill gem somewhere. I don't want to like read everything now, but it cannot pierce. But what happens is, since we're running Fork as well, we're gonna hit an enemy and the shield's gonna split in 3 shields, okay? And then we're gonna use Vengeance Cascade. This is the Anoint over here, which is basically the old Nimis. So all the projectiles return to you, and they also pierce. So if I shoot like somewhere, you see that the projectile is just bouncing back to me. And as you can imagine, with Fork, when there's a lot of like things going away here, there's also a lot of shields generated, especially later on with like the Mark on hit support. And you're gonna see how these shields are actually gonna bouncing back, and this is gonna be is actually some crazy single target defense. Good. As for the mapping, I mean, yes, you have to aim the Spectral Shield Throw, but with like the Vengeance Cascade bouncing off everywhere, we are also Deadeye, so that has like a 30% chance to chain when it collides with terrain. So I could just like simply throw it against something and it will actually bounce off like a percent of that. Life surges are going off. And I think this build might be then, oh shit, Uber Essence. Give me a second. I'm actually wondering how big is this Doriani's thing here. God, these essences, man. But as you see, here it is a perfect example of what Mark on hit with Vengeance Cascade does to Spectral Shield Throw. It just generates a lot of like shields and they bounce back and everything. It's like, it's pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to spend more time into that. So here is the boss somewhere, get my totem down, and get a lot of pizzas around here. There is actually also Tornado that you can use to actually simulate an enemy for the first initial couple of seconds. So Tornado has like a 2-second stage, right? So if I just shoot here, nothing happens. If I use the Tornado, it actually starts splitting off it. And once the Tornado reaches the second step, it actually stops doing that, right? So there's also an alternate quality that increases the duration of that first stage, more or less, right? But as you see, with Deadeye, with a lot of like projectile speed, these things are flying insanely far. Even with like the increased chaining range, we have a chance of, again, additional forks, I think, on the skill tree and stuff like that. And I think once I'm starting to min-max this build and fix like a lot of the issues that it currently has, especially when it comes to like ailment immunity and stuff like that, I don't even know what my hit chance is. Heck. Yeah, 94% hit chance. You want to get this as close to 100 as possible, because we don't want to miss any shields, right? And we do have Tailwind, so the character should become quite fast and like very, very enjoyable to play, and it's a really cool build concept. And as I said, I don't want to spoiler everything that is planned for the build because there is more stuff. But just thinking about that, my current shield has like a 200 ES or 250 ES, and we can possibly get like an 800, 900, or even more maybe shield. Just think like this character is gonna do a quadrillion DPS. And one thing I want to mention here, because this is gonna be asked quite often, what about the Mana Siphoners? These rare monsters with the blue circle, right, that actually have a lightning damage over time, as well as like Crusader modifiers, right? Like when you run the Crusader map, there is like these like Degen floors, right? I think that they deal lightning damage over time. And I think a map boss that I forgot the map name of, yeah, it doesn't matter. But there is like a very, very few sources. So yes, lightning damage over time actually kills you super fast. Because the Dorianis has only like, armor also applies to lightning damage taken from hits, okay? A Degen is not a hit, so therefore you're actually mitigating that lightning damage dot with like a negative 130 lightning grace. So you can imagine, as soon as you step in there, it takes like half a second and you're just dead, you know, if even half a second. So how to counter that? I found a couple of these monsters today with my super scuffed build, and usually they die off screen. So even if I see them, you know, I'm still a range build. So if the monster is there, I can just shoot my pizzas over there, and I can kill it safely from range. I can understand if you're playing something like an accuracy stacker, that when you are in melee range, this is like really frustrating. But I think I didn't die a single time today on these like Mana Siphoners. It will happen at some point. But honestly, with the amount of maps that I'm running per day, if it happens once or twice, I mean, this is also like a thing when you click on a strong box and then it says cast an Ice Nova, you know. If you're not instantly running away, you're probably gonna get one shot in the higher tier maps, right? So it's not like that common, right? And when it comes to Conqueror maps, I mean, you know, we're in 321, so the Conquerors are only available when you have like Conqueror maps, right? So it's not like that you randomly gonna proc one of these modifiers on the map. So just don't do any Conqueror like Baran maps. Easy fix, right? So I think like, yes, I can understand the questions about this, but honestly, with the current price of these items, it's actually a freaking joke. Because Dorianis right now, Dorianis prototype, where is it? Here it is. They started 3 Chaos, okay? So it's nobody's playing that. And that's why also like a lot of these items that are really good for Dorianis builds are actually not really expensive. And I got this one with white sockets, which is nice because we need 4 green for 3 divines. So yeah, pretty good on that part. So yeah, other than that, I don't even want to show you my gear. It's life resistance for the most part. Just take care that you not have like lightning res on there. It's just fire cold chaos res. My weapon was like 3 chaos or something. I don't know. Like, it's gonna massive improvements have to be made, but I'm honestly surprised about the current damage output, even though it's like a very low effort build as it comes to that. I didn't even bother using this the jewel sockets because I don't have any jewels anyways right now, right? So just that you get the idea of what the current state of the build is, what is planned. I showed you on my list over here, and we're just gonna work our way to down here and see how the numbers look like, and I hope that PUB will actually do an update to actually see if this is actually a major damage increase, or how does it interact compared with losing the physical damage, and so on and so forth. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.